The gates slammed shut behind him. 19 years old. An Arab kid with nothing. No family. No letters. No future. The guards pushed him inside the block. The walls smelled of sweat, blood, and fear. I followed him. Predators sizing up fresh meat. A tall man leaned against the bars, smoking. He spoke with a heavy Corsican accent. New face. 6 years. Huh? You're mine now. The others laughed. But it wasn't a joke. The Corsican Mafia ran this prison. They owned the guards. They owned the drugs. They owned the air he breathed. The boy didn't know how to read, didn't know how to write, but he understood one thing: in here weakness meant death. That night they gave him his first order. A folded paper slipped under his mattress. A name, target, another prisoner. No explanation, just a whispered warning. Do it, or you won't see the morning. His hands shook. His heart raced. He had never killed before, but the choice wasn't his anymore. The boy lay awake, staring into the darkness, and for the first time he felt the weight of what he was about to become. Tomorrow he had to make his first kill. Morning came. The guards opened the cell doors. The boy walked out, his stomach twisting into knots. The target sat alone in the yard. A man in his 40s, scarred face, heavy build. He smoked calmly, unaware of what was coming. The boy's pockets held a sharpened toothbrush. His first weapon, his first test. He felt every eye on him, waiting, judging. He sat next to the man. Silence. Then the whisper, sorry. The blade plunged into flesh. Once, twice, again. The man screamed, blood spraying across the gravel. The guards pretended not to see. The yard froze in silence. The boy's hands trembled, covered in red. His breath came in gasps, but the Corsicans clapped. They nodded. He had passed. That night he vomited into the toilet, shaking, crying. But when he looked up into the cracked mirror, he saw something different. Fear mixed with fire, weakness turning into something colder. From then on, the Mafia fed him scraps of work. Messages, smuggled packages, little jobs that grew bigger each week. And soon, the Arabs in prison started to notice him too. They whispered his name. They watched how fast he was learning. The boy didn't know it yet, but killing that man wasn't the end. It was the beginning of everything. Days passed. The boy kept his head down, but inside something had changed. He walked different, spoke less, watched more. The Corsican boss called him one night. Private meeting in the laundry room. The machines roared, drowning every sound. The boss lit a cigarette, his eyes cold. You did well, but one kill means nothing. I need to know if you're loyal or just lucky. He slid a small packet across the table. Powder, drugs. Tomorrow you deliver this. No mistakes, no questions. If the Arabs try to stop you, you finish them. The boy froze. Arabs, his own people. He felt his chest tighten, but he nodded. He couldn't refuse. Not yet. The next day he walked across the yard. The packet hidden under his clothes. 2 Arab inmates blocked his path. Older, stronger. They saw the package. They saw fear in his eyes. One of them grinned. You work for the French dogs now? You betray your blood? The boy didn't answer. His hand slid inside his pocket. The sharpened toothbrush again. The fight broke out fast. Blades flashing. Blood on the concrete. Screams echoing across the yard. When it was over, one Arab lay bleeding. The other backed away, shaken. The boy delivered the package. He had chosen survival. That night he sat alone in his cell, his hands still shaking. But deep inside, something dark whispered, He realized he didn't belong to the Corsicans. He didn't belong to the Arabs either. He would belong to no one. And one day, they would all belong to him. But first, he had to play their game and learn how to win. Weeks turned into months. The boy was no longer invisible. The Corsicans trusted him with deliveries, messages, even money. But the Arabs, they hadn't forgotten. One night, in the showers, an older Arab approached him. No threats, no blade, just a whisper. "You're wasting yourself, brother. The French use you, but your blood is here. With us. Help us. We'll protect you." The boy stayed silent, but his mind raced. The Corsicans gave him power. The Arabs offered belonging. Two fires, both dangerous. He decided to stand in both. By day, he served the Corsicans, running their business, carrying their orders. By night, he whispered with the Arabs, passing small favors, trading secrets. Slowly, he built a bridge between worlds. No one suspected, not yet, but secrets grow heavy. And soon, someone noticed. One evening, the Corsican boss pulled him aside, his tone sharp, his eyes like knives. "You think I don't see? You talk to the Arabs. You smile with them. You think you're clever?" The boy's blood turned to ice. The boss leaned closer. "Next week, we test you again. And if you fail," he dragged a finger across his throat, then smiled as if nothing had been said. The boy walked back to his cell, his mind burning. This wasn't just survival anymore. Now it was war. A war he had to win on both sides. And the next test would decide whether he lived or died. The test came fast. The Corsican boss handed him a list. 3 names. All Arabs. You kill one. Doesn't matter which. Do it clean. Do it loud. Show them who owns this prison. The boy nodded. His chest burned. They were forcing him to choose a side. That night he went to the Arabs. He laid the list on the table. They stared at him in silence. One of them laughed. "They want you to kill us? Then we'll use it. We feed you names. You tell them we're dead. But instead we grow stronger." The boy listened, his mind turning fast. He realized something. The Corsicans thought they controlled him. The Arabs thought they could use him. But in truth, he could use them both. The next day, in the cafeteria, he struck. Not an Arab. Not anyone from the list. Instead, he attacked a neutral. A lone prisoner with no ties. He stabbed him once in front of everyone. Clean. Brutal. Loud. The Corsicans applauded. The Arabs spread rumors. Both sides believed he was with them. But whispers grew. The guards noticed the bodies piling up. And soon, cell doors clanged open at night. Raids. Searches. The prison shook with chaos. Arabs and Corsicans clashing in the yard. Blood on the walls. And in the middle of it all, the boy walked calmly. A ghost. A shadow. A prophet in the making. But power never stays hidden. One guard, older, sharper than the rest, pulled him aside. "I know what you're doing. You think you're clever. But one day you'll slip. And when you do, I'll be there." The boy stared into his eyes, unflinching. For the first time, he smiled. Because deep inside, he wasn't afraid anymore. He was planning something bigger. Something no one would see coming. And it would start with the guard himself. The guard's eyes followed him everywhere. In the yard. In the halls. During meals. The boy felt the weight of that stare. Sharper than any blade. One night, the guard slipped into his cell. No flashlight. Just silence. He leaned close and whispered, "You want power? I can give it to you. But you'll pay." The boy didn't answer. His face gave nothing away. But his mind spun. Why would a guard reach for him? The answer came days later. The guard pushed a small bag through the bars. Cocaine. Move this for me. Corsicans can't know. Arabs can't know. You do it, we both win. It was madness. The boy wasn't just playing two sides anymore. Now he was playing three. He smuggled the bag into the Corsican wing, slipped half to the boss as tribute, kept half hidden for the Arabs, and both sides believed it came from them. The Corsicans thought he stole from the Arabs. The Arabs thought he stole from the Corsicans. The guard? He thought he owned the boy, but in truth, the boy now owned him. Soon he was everywhere, a shadow moving messages. Drugs, money, no longer a pawn, something more, but power always leaves traces. One night the guard cornered him again. You're too quiet, too clean. You think I don't see? If you cross me, kid, I'll bury you. The boy stared back, calm, cold, and with a voice he barely recognized as his own, he whispered, "No, you won't." For the first time, the guard stepped back. The boy had crossed a line. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was commanding, and the next move he made would shake the prison to its core. The prison was boiling. Corsicans against Arabs. Arabs against Corsicans. And in the middle, the boy, invisible hands pulling every string. He fed the Corsicans rumors, whispers that the Arabs planned an attack. He fed the Arabs lies, that the Corsicans plotted to kill their leader. Each side sharpened their blades. Each side waited for blood. And then, the boy lit the spark. In the yard at midday, he slipped a knife to one Arab and pointed toward a Corsican. The blade went in. Chaos exploded. Shouts, screams, chains rattling, dozens of men fighting, guards beating batons against steel, sirens wailing, blood smeared across the concrete. And through the storm the boy walked calm, like a shadow, like a prophet in his own holy war. When the smoke cleared, both sides were broken, leaders dead, soldiers locked in isolation. But the boy, untouched, unpunished, unnoticed, he sat in his cell, his hands folded, his eyes burning. Men came to him, Arabs, Corsicans, even neutrals. They asked for advice, for favors, for protection, and he gave it in small doses, enough to make them come back, enough to make them believe he saw the future. Whispers filled the prison. They called him the prophet. But power attracts enemies. And one night the old guard returned. He stared at the boy with a look half fear, half respect. "You've built something here," he said. "But remember, prophets burn fast." The boy didn't answer. He just smiled in the dark. Because he already knew. This prison wasn't his cage anymore. It was his throne. And soon he was going to walk out of it. Not as a prisoner, but as a king. Yet freedom always comes with blood. 6 years had passed. The boy was no longer a boy. His shoulders broad, his eyes sharp, his voice calm and heavy, like stone. Inside the walls, nothing moved without his word. Drugs, weapons, protection. Even the guards looked the other way. The Corsicans obeyed him. The Arabs feared him. The rest worshipped him. The day of his release came. He walked through the gates in silence, the same gates that once swallowed him whole. But now he stepped out as a different man. Outside, no family waited, no friends, only a black car. Inside, an Arab gangster, gold rings, heavy cologne. He smiled. "We've heard about you, the prophet of the prison. We've been waiting." The man offered him a cigarette, but the prophet just stared ahead, silent. His mind was already moving, calculating. He knew the truth. He wasn't leaving crime behind. He was bringing prison with him. Every lesson, every betrayal, every drop of blood. They had carved him into something unstoppable. The city spread out before him. Paris, its streets buzzing with life, money, and death. And somewhere, deep inside, the voice whispered again. This wasn't the end of his story. It was only the beginning, because the boy who entered as nothing had walked out a king. And kings take everything.